Before we start the video, if you love classic cars, forgotten stories, and machines that shaped an era, then you're in the right place. Take a moment now and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot since the channel is new and it allows us to bring even more stories, more rarities, and more four-wheel legends. Click the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join this community of classic car enthusiasts. The 1950 Dodge Coronet emerged in an era when American roads were changing, cities were expanding, and the automobile was becoming more than transportation, it was becoming an identity. What made the 1950 Coronet legendary was not luxury or flamboyant design, but a deep-rooted honesty in its engineering. It was a car that promised little beyond reliability, strength, and durability, yet it delivered those qualities so consistently that generations came to see it as one of the most unbreakable American vehicles ever produced. The Coronet did not try to impress with extravagant chrome, oversized fins, or futuristic styling. Instead, it presented itself as a solid, trustworthy companion that valued substance over style, and in many ways, that humble approach became the foundation of its legendary status. When people looked at the Dodge Coronet in 1950, they immediately recognized its character. Its design was simple, with clean lines, robust proportions, and a presence that felt grounded and confident. There was no flash for the sake of flash, no attempt to chase fashion trends. It was a car built for real life, for long trips on America's new highways, for families expanding in the post-war boom, for businesses that needed a dependable fleet, and for small-town drivers who wanted a machine that simply would not quit. In those early post-war years, reliability meant everything, and the Coronet embodied that value like few vehicles of its time. One of the Coronet's most defining characteristics was its durable construction. Dodge engineers built the car on a sturdy frame that felt more like something from a truck than a passenger vehicle. Owners often said the Coronet felt heavier and stronger than other American sedans of the era, and for good reason. The steel used in its body panels was thick and rigid, offering not only a sense of safety but longevity. Even decades later, abandoned Coronets left in fields or barns would often still have surprisingly solid bodies, a testament to how well the car resisted rust, weather, and time. People would find these forgotten vehicles, give them fresh oil and fuel, and watch in amazement as the old engines roared back to life with little complaint. The engine itself was a major part of the Coronet's mystique. Under the hood sat Dodge's legendary flathead inline-six, a power plant known across America for being nearly impossible to kill. It wasn't fast or exotic, but it was incredibly dependable. Mechanics admired it for its simplicity, its layout was straightforward, parts were easy to reach, and it rarely suffered catastrophic failures. The Flathead 6 had a rhythm to it, a steady and reassuring beat that echoed the car's reputation. Taxi fleets loved the engine because it could run for hundreds of thousands of miles with minimal maintenance. Farmers trusted it because it started in cold winters, tolerated dusty roads, and ran smoothly even when poorly maintained. Families appreciated it because it simply kept going, year after year, without expensive repairs. Driving the 1950 Dodge Coronet wasn't about speed or excitement, but about a sense of confidence. The steering was deliberate, the suspension firm, and the overall feel grounded. It handled rugged roads with surprising ease, and though it wasn't sporty, it was predictable and stable. Many owners described the car as feeling safe long before safety features became common in the automotive world. The Coronet's weight, structure, and balanced steering made it a comforting presence on the road, especially during long journeys. For many families experiencing their first cross-country trips, the Coronet became a trusted companion on adventures that would define their lives. The post-war America of 1950 was a nation experiencing rapid change. Highways expanded, suburbs grew, and the automobile became the centerpiece of the American dream. The Dodge Coronet fit seamlessly into this cultural moment. While other manufacturers chased style, extravagance, and growing horsepower arms races, Dodge delivered a dependable workhorse that appealed to buyers who wanted value, strength, and longevity. It became popular among returning soldiers who appreciated practicality and reliability, qualities they had learned to prioritize during the war. In a time when America was rebuilding and reorganizing, the Coronet represented stability, a quality deeply appreciated by a generation seeking security and progress. Its interior reflected the same philosophy as its exterior: simple, functional, and built to last. The dashboard was uncluttered, with clear gauges and intuitive controls. Seats were firm and durable, upholstered in materials that resisted wear and fading. The cabin was spacious enough for families, yet nothing felt excessive or unnecessary. It was a car designed to serve, not to boast. And because of that, families kept their Coronets for years, sometimes decades, passing them from one generation to the next. Many Americans experienced their childhood road trips, first drives, and early memories inside a Coronet, binding the car to the emotional fabric of countless lives. The Coronet's reputation only grew stronger as the years went by. Owners would share stories of unimaginable durability, engines that ran after overheating, suspensions that survived brutal roads, and transmissions that kept functioning long after they should have failed. It was not uncommon to hear tales of Coronets that sat unused for years, only to start almost immediately after receiving fresh gasoline and a charged battery. Mechanics jokingly called it the car that refuses to die, and owners wore that reputation like a badge of honor. The legend of the indestructible Coronet spread far beyond typical car circles, reaching farmers, taxi drivers, factory workers, families, and small-town mechanics who all had stories of witnessing the car's incredible toughness. Interestingly, the Coronet also found its way into early police and government fleets. Agencies appreciated its durability and low maintenance costs, often pushing the cars far beyond typical service limits. In many towns across America, the Coronet served as a patrol vehicle, surviving long hours, rough driving conditions, and constant use. Officers trusted it because it simply did not break, and when repairs were needed, they were affordable and easy to perform. The car became part of the daily life of countless communities, contributing to its image as a true all-American machine. Despite its strong and honest nature, the Coronet also carried a quiet charm. Its rounded fenders, tall stance, and classic post-war lines gave it a presence that aged gracefully. It wasn't flashy, but it was undeniably handsome in a timeless way. Car enthusiasts today admire its proportions, simplicity, and unpretentious elegance. Unlike many early 1950s vehicles, the Coronet's design does not feel overly experimental or awkward. It feels deliberate, balanced, and well-constructed, a reflection of the engineering mindset that shaped it. For many Americans, the 1950 Dodge Coronet was the first car they ever owned. Post-war prosperity allowed more families to afford new vehicles, and the Coronet, offered at a fair price, became an accessible option for millions. It represented freedom, progress, and stability. It was the car that drove newlyweds to their first home, that carried young parents to the hospital for the birth of their child, and that transported families on Sunday drives, vacations, and summer road trips. Its presence in these memories helped cement the Coronet's emotional legacy, creating a bond that extended far beyond mechanics and engineering. Another key part of the Coronet's legend was its adaptability. It was offered in several body styles, including a sedan, club coupe, convertible, and station wagon. Each version carried the same rugged DNA but served different lifestyles. Families loved the spacious sedans and wagons, while younger buyers admired the coupe's stylish profile. The convertible added a touch of glamour, yet even that version maintained the durability that defined the Coronet. Businesses often purchased fleet sedans for employees or delivery tasks, trusting their strength and low maintenance costs. This versatility helped establish the Coronet as a pillar of the Dodge lineup for years to come. What truly set the 1950 Coronet apart from many other cars of its era was the way it built loyalty. People who owned one often stayed with Dodge for decades. The experience of owning a Coronet, of feeling its strength, witnessing its reliability, and trusting its endurance, created a powerful emotional connection. Families would trade in their old Coronet for a newer Dodge, but they would always speak proudly of the car that served them so well. Many would say, "Nothing beats the old Dodge," and that sentiment became a part of American automotive culture. Even today, restored Coronets retain that sense of authenticity. When enthusiasts drive them on quiet country roads or pull them into classic car meets, the car carries an atmosphere of history, reliability, and nostalgia. It reminds older generations of a simpler time, and it introduces younger enthusiasts to the genius of straightforward engineering. Many still marvel at how smoothly the Flathead 6 runs, how solid the doors feel when they close, and how sturdily the car moves along the road. There is something reassuring about the Coronet, something that makes it feel alive even after so many decades. Collectors value the 1950 Coronet not for rarity but for character. It represents an era when American cars were built to endure, when craftsmanship prioritized longevity over extravagance, and when engineering focused on reliability above all else. The Coronet stands as a symbol of those values, continuing to inspire admiration among those who appreciate functional beauty. You don't need to be a Dodge enthusiast to respect the Coronet, you only need to understand the profound difference between a car designed to impress and a car designed to last. The Coronet's place in automotive history is unique because its legend was not built by marketers or advertising campaigns. It was built by the people who drove it, by their stories, experiences, and the countless miles they shared with this car. Every scratch, dent, and memory added to its myth. Farmers who depended on it through harsh winters, taxi drivers who trusted it through long city nights, and families who filled it with laughter and luggage all contributed to the Coronet's enduring legacy. It became more than a machine, it became a part of American life. As the decades rolled forward, the 1950 Dodge Coronet remained a quiet but persistent presence on American roads. Many of these cars outlived the typical expectations of a post-war automobile, continuing to serve their owners faithfully into the 1960s and even the 1970s. Part of what made this longevity possible was the way Dodge designed the Coronet with future maintenance in mind. Unlike many modern vehicles that complicate repairs with layers of electronics and delicate components, the Coronet embraced mechanical honesty. Everything was accessible, everything was comprehensible, and everything was built with the intention that it could be repaired in small-town garages by mechanics armed with basic tools. The car invited owners to open the hood, understand how it worked, and feel confident that they could keep it running. That simplicity became one of the most enduring qualities of its legacy. Owners would often recount how the Coronet seemed to have a personality, almost as if it appreciated being maintained and rewarded attention with flawless operation. They spoke about its gentle idle, its reassuring hum on long highways, and its steady reliability in all weather conditions. The car rarely felt fragile or temperamental. Instead, it behaved like an old friend, consistent, supportive, and always ready for the next journey. That emotional connection played a powerful role in cementing the Coronet's legendary status. People didn't just drive the Coronet, they trusted it, and that trust transformed the car into a member of the family rather than a mere possession. Another striking quality of the Coronet was its unmatched endurance in harsh environments. In rural regions, where roads were rough, unpaved, or poorly maintained, the Coronet excelled. Its suspension absorbed bumps and ruts without complaint, and its robust frame resisted the kind of structural stress that would cripple other cars. Farmers often used their Coronets to haul supplies, transport livestock feed, or navigate muddy fields. The car performed these tasks with such resilience that people began to compare it to a small truck disguised as a family sedan. Even when overloaded or subjected to demanding conditions, the Coronet carried on, proving time and again that it was engineered for real-world challenges rather than ideal test conditions. The Coronet's sturdy construction also made it surprisingly durable in minor accidents. In an age before crumple zones and modern safety engineering, many vehicles tended to deform badly in collisions, leading to expensive repairs. The Coronet, however, often emerged from fender benders with little more than cosmetic damage. Its thick steel panels absorbed impacts effectively, and its heavy frame maintained structural integrity. While modern standards rightly emphasize crumple zones and controlled deformation, in the context of its time, the Coronet's ruggedness offered a sense of protection that appealed to families and businesses alike. That feeling of safety, primitive as it may have been by modern standards, was one more reason the Coronet earned such respect in its era. Even its quirks contributed to its charm. Owners fondly remembered the sound of the flathead 6 turning over on cold mornings, the characteristic smell of warm oil after long drives, and the gentle sway of the suspension on country roads. These small details carved themselves into memories, creating a nostalgic bond that remained long after the cars themselves disappeared from daily roads. For many people, the Coronet became a symbol of youth, stability, and the post-war optimism that defined a generation. Car enthusiasts today often say that the Coronet feels like a handshake from the past, a machine that embodies the values and aspirations of the early 1950s. The Coronet's durability even made it a favorite among young drivers of later decades who needed cheap, dependable transportation. Throughout the 1960s, many used Coronets, already a decade old, served as first cars for teenagers, delivery vehicles for small businesses, or primary family transport for households on tight budgets. Because the car could withstand neglect and still keep running, it found new life with owners who didn't have the resources to maintain a more delicate vehicle. Some of these young drivers put the Coronet through extreme conditions: backroad racing, rough trail driving, overloaded trips, and careless treatment. Yet the car often survived these abuses, further reinforcing the legend of its indestructibility. By the time classic car culture began to blossom in the 1970s and 1980s, many Coronets from 1950 had already lived hard lives. While some had been retired, abandoned, or cannibalized for parts, a surprising number still existed in barns, garages, and small-town properties. Car enthusiasts began rediscovering these machines, marveling at their simplicity and durability. Restoring a Coronet was often easier than restoring other cars from the same era, because its parts were widely available, its design was straightforward, and its components were forgiving. Many restorers were shocked to discover engines that still had compression, frames that remained solid, and bodies that retained structural integrity despite decades of neglect. The more enthusiasts revived these old cars, the more they realized just how ahead of its time the Coronet's durability truly was. Over time, the 1950 Coronet developed a quiet but passionate following among collectors who valued authenticity and mechanical honesty. Unlike rare or exotic classics that demanded pristine restoration and delicate preservation, the Coronet welcomed driving. It wanted to be on the road, to breathe fresh air, and to relive the freedom of its youth. Car shows across America began seeing more Coronets, sometimes meticulously restored, sometimes preserved in original condition with faded paint and worn interiors. Spectators appreciated the car not because it was flashy, but because it represented a different philosophy of automotive engineering, one focused on utility and dependability. It reminded people that legendary cars aren't always the fastest or the most luxurious, sometimes they are the ones that refuse to die. The cultural impact of the Coronet also extended into American media. While it never became a Hollywood icon like some other classics, it appeared frequently in films and television shows set in the early post-war years. Directors chose it not for glamour but for authenticity. The Coronet blended seamlessly into scenes depicting small-town life, working-class families, suburban streets, and early 1950s America. It became a cinematic symbol of reliability and simplicity, enhancing its reputation among viewers who recognized the car from their own childhood or their parents' stories. Its presence on screen reinforced its role as a familiar, trustworthy companion, as integral to American life as the white picket fence or the corner diner. Another aspect of the Coronet's legacy lies in how it shaped Dodge's identity for decades. Before the 1950s, Dodge was known primarily as a manufacturer of tough, utilitarian vehicles, but the Coronet helped solidify that reputation in the public mind. It demonstrated that Dodge could build a car for ordinary families that retained the brand's trademark ruggedness. The Coronet set the stage for future Dodge models, many of which embraced similar values of strength, durability, and simplicity. Even as Dodge later ventured into muscle cars and high-performance machines, the spirit of the early Coronet, a spirit of honesty and reliability, remained at the core of the brand's DNA. What made the Coronet particularly special was how universally it appealed to different kinds of people. Wealthy families in growing suburbs admired it for its dependability, working-class households trusted it for its durability, and rural drivers appreciated its toughness. It was not a car that targeted a specific demographic, it was a car for everyone, and that rare universality made it beloved across social classes. Even today, when collectors gather to discuss the Coronet, you will hear stories from all walks of life. One person might remember riding in the back seat on a long road trip with their siblings. Another might recall using it to deliver newspapers in harsh winter weather. Someone else might describe how their father used the car for work, transporting tools, or equipment in the trunk. These stories, personal, diverse, and heartfelt, form a collective memory that elevates the Coronet beyond machinery. Modern drivers who experience the Coronet for the first time often express surprise at how refined it feels for a car of its age. The ride is smooth, the engine is quiet, and the cabin feels solid. Its mechanical simplicity gives it a purity that modern cars cannot replicate. There is a direct connection between driver and machine, a sense that every action, every touch of the wheel, every press of the pedal, produces an immediate and honest response. The Coronet lacks hidden complexity. What you feel is what you get. That transparency makes the driving experience deeply satisfying, especially in an era where modern vehicles often feel distant due to electronic assistance systems. The nostalgia surrounding the 1950 Dodge Coronet is not merely sentimental, it reflects a genuine admiration for a car that exceeded expectations in every practical sense. When people think of legendary American cars, they often imagine powerful muscle cars or glamorous luxury models. Yet the Coronet deserves its place in that pantheon precisely because it represents the values that built the American automotive industry: practicality, durability, affordability, and resilience. It was a car that did its job so well that it became unforgettable. That kind of legacy cannot be manufactured by marketing departments. It can only emerge naturally through decades of real-world performance and the stories of those who lived alongside the machine. Today, surviving Coronets continue to remind enthusiasts of what makes a truly great car. Many owners restore them not to showroom perfection but to functional glory, emphasizing drivability and authenticity. They enjoy taking these cars on the road, allowing the engine to stretch its legs and the tires to feel the pavement. Driving a Coronet today is like traveling through time, experiencing the world at a slower pace, through the lens of a machine that carries within it the memories of millions of Americans. Each mile driven feels like a tribute to the generations who relied on the Coronet, trusted it, and kept it alive. The rise of classic car preservation has also led to renewed appreciation for vehicles like the Coronet. Younger generations, eager to explore the roots of American automotive culture, are discovering the charm of cars built before the age of complexity. They admire the Coronet for its simplicity, its mechanical transparency, and its historical significance. Many find themselves drawn to its honest design and its reputation for indestructibility. As a new wave of enthusiasts inherits these cars, the Coronet's legacy grows stronger, ensuring that it will remain a cherished piece of American history for decades to come. Ultimately, the 1950 Dodge Coronet became a legend not because it sought to be one, but because it faithfully served millions of people without ever asking for recognition. It became a symbol of American resilience, reflecting the spirit of a nation rebuilding after war, expanding its horizons, and embracing new dreams. It was the quiet hero of countless stories, the silent partner of families, workers, and young adventurers. Its strength, simplicity, and unwavering reliability transformed it from a mere automobile into an enduring icon. Even now, when one encounters a well-preserved Coronet on the road or at a car show, it evokes an undeniable sense of respect. It stands as a reminder of what the automotive world once valued and what, in many ways, it has lost. The Coronet was not designed to impress with speed or status. It was designed to last, to serve, and to endure, and it did so with exceptional success. The legend of the 1950 Dodge Coronet continues to thrive because the car embodies timeless qualities that transcend era, technology, and trends. It remains a testament to the idea that greatness often lies not in extravagance but in quiet strength, unwavering reliability, and a heart that refuses to stop beating.